Welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport.
So the weekend is over, and once again we take a look at the motorsports that aren't quite as important as Formula 1 and therefore don't require their own video. Yes, it's the weekly roundup, and this weekend 2 championships were won. Another 2 were blown wide open, and NASCAR. So subscribe, like and comment, and take a look with me at the wonderful world of minor motorsport only the incredibly invested may have any interest in. Let's begin. Starting with Formula 2, Nick de Vries is champion. Thought I would get that out the way early. Artem Markelov has replaced Antoine Hubert at Arden and retired on the first lap. Not a great return for him. Giotto and Schumacher on softer tyres flew through the field, with Giotto eventually taking the lead. Schumacher had an engine problem, causing him to retire. Pretty much sums up his year. Towards the end of the race, Giotto came out in 4th from his late pit stop, quickly caught Delatraz and overtook him, but his tyres went off and he dropped back to 4th. And de Vries, who won the race, was crowned champion, with 3 races left in the series. Race 2 was blighted by a heavy accident for Mazepin and Matsushita that brought the red flags out. Giotto would win the race from de Vries and again Callum Ilott. Latifi and Giotto fighting for second with just 10 points and 2 races to sort it out, but Nick de Vries has been a dominant champion, and a step up to Formula E is a great career move for him, especially as it brings him into the Mercedes fold. I look forward to seeing how he does. Formula 3, and this was the final round, and Formula 3 has a problem. Bent Viskel and Liang Hao Cho retired with separate crashes on the first couple of laps, and I didn't even know they existed. Not a good sign. Or I haven't been paying attention. Or Formula 3 has a field of very mixed talents. Lundgaard spun on a restart, capping off a bad weekend for him. Armstrong got past Schwarzmann on the last lap, but Robert Schwarzmann is champion. Armstrong closed on Deruvala for second, but the Primas were guaranteed a 1-2-3 finish in the final standings anyway. Deruvala would break down on the grid for race 2 and start from the pit lane. This means Armstrong would have to finish at least second with fastest lap to take second in the standings, behind Schwarzmann and claim the bragging rights. Vips would eventually win from Armstrong, and Armstrong did get fastest lap. Deruvala climbed to 9th, but a 5-second penalty dropped him to 14th, meaning Armstrong would finish second to Schwarzmann. The other entry of note was David Schumacher, son of Ralph, making his debut in the series. Will we have another young Schumacher with a bright future, just like Mick? Super Formula from Okayama. Fakazumi crashed on lap 8. And with a name like that, you can imagine what he said. Strangely, Makino got a puncture coming out of the pits. You usually wait till you get on track for the tyre to deflate. His new innovative strategy didn't work out, funnily enough. Isuria would retire with a puncture on lap 38, but the moment that defined the race and the championship was Nick Cassidy, coming in from the lead, having a really bad pit stop, and banging wheels with my boy Kobayashi, before spinning, and Kobayashi would retire on the last lap with a puncture as well. The race was won by Yamashita from Nakajima, Howson Nui, who had his first podium, and a certain Patricio O'Ward finished 6th. 1 round left and 5 drivers in with a shout. Yamamoto leads with a point more than Cassidy, with Palau 4 points behind, Yamashita 8 and Kobayashi 10 points off with a slim chance himself. Quite exciting, you will all agree. Back home, we had a wet British touring cars from Silverstone. Stephen Jelly and Martin Blundell would wreck each other, and the championship leader Turkington spun after hitting Collard and fell to the back and had to work his way up. Bobby Thompson spun out and Sutton got a puncture. Eventually, Ingram would win from Plato and Smiley, with the main championship protagonists 8th for Jordan, 11th for Camish and 14th for Turkington. Game on. Race 2 and the rain really started to come down, with everybody on slicks. Camish and Turkington would get past Andrew Jordan, and the race entered a state of chaos. As usual, thanks to Jason Plato. This time trying a desperate lunge on Tom Ingram and sending him sideways, leaving Tom Oliphant in the lead. Matt Neal would clash with Cook and retire with a puncture, and then madness ensued as the rain got heavier. Butcher hit Ollie Jackson, and Adam Morgan would spin into the gravel, bringing out the safety car. After the safety car came in, Oliphant dropped from 1st to 9th. The red flag was shown due to the dangerous conditions, and it finished Ingram winning again with Turkington and Camish behind. The final race of the day was also a wet one. Matt Simpson led until Andrew Jordan spun him out, and Tom Ingram would also retire. People began pitting for wets, except for a few brave souls who soldiered on. Cook would clash with Camish, retiring with damage, and severely damaging his title hopes in the process. Jack Goff with Team Hard had pitted early for wets and was carving through the field, followed by Gain Moffat, who blew his chances of challenging Goff when he spun at Cops. Camish would drop way down in the end, and Team Hard gained their first ever win, with Moffat and Matt Neal behind. As we enter the final round, Turkington has an 18 points lead, and the advantage, with Camish and Jordan separated by a single point. Josh Cook has had a great season and is still in with a slim chance, as is Tom Ingram technically, but he needs several miracles to happen. Better get praying. Finally, NASCAR, with their only really interesting idea, a roval track. An oval track with corners. It genuinely led to an exciting race. Larson won stage 1, but it was the second stage when things got interesting. Wallace was apparently flipping off Bowman, and Bowman saw the red mist and spun Wallace round. They would have an altercation after the race, and Wallace acting the man's man and pouring water over Bowman. Yeah, go on son, that'll show him. Chase Elliott would win stage 2 before crashing into the wall. A lot more spins, and Chase Elliott would work his way back up to the win. Eric Jones, Kurt Busch, Ryan Newman and Eric Marola were eliminated from the chase as we move into the final 12. But the roval track was different, and NASCAR could do with a few more sprinkled into the season. So that's all. Quite an interesting week, with the Formula 2 and 3 champions being crowned, and exciting racing from British Touring Cars and NASCAR was even pretty good for a change. Not a lot happening next week, no Formula 1, but we do have a next NASCAR round, as well as DTM with the Super GT cars taking part, and WRC from Wales. So subscribe to stay updated and have a bloody good one.